Welcome, everybody, to Unraveling the Opportunities of Artificial Intelligence, a group discussion. We've got a revolutionary webinar with you today where you get to be the participant and share your concepts and your ideas in the chat. So I encourage you to join in the discussion. And then we're going to try something brand new that we've never done before by having you engage with a tool in order to do surveys for you. So you're going to answer some survey questions coming up. So you might want to have your smartphone ready, or Caitlin is going to be putting up in the bar the address that you can use to be able to do it directly from your computer. So without further ado, we've got 30 minutes and a big topic because AI is what everybody's talking about. It's one of the most exciting topics out there. So we're going to talk about, first we're just going to define a little bit about what is AI, and from a high level, get some key definitions and just lay the groundwork in case you're brand new to the AI discussion. And then we're going to do our open discussion. We're going to do that survey where you're going to give us input on where you are in your AI journey. We'll review those answers together, and then we'll give you some use cases and examples of how AI is revolutionizing the business today. So diving right in, what is AI? Artificial intelligence is a concept that has been around for a very long time. It hasn't been realized until recently, thanks to all the advancements in the hardware and technology space. So it's really not a new concept. In fact, many of you are using it today in your brainware solution or your Abby solution, where artificial intelligence machine learning is embedded in those products and has been for decades, because really it was born in about the 40s and 50s. It's a science and engineering where you can apply program and rules-based techniques. And of course, we're going to cover a few more of the other key acronyms. So you'll hear about machine learning, or ML, deep learning, neural networks. And while it all sounds really complex, it's really not all that bad, but it's really exciting because the power it brings and how it brings all of the natural processing through, and you're using it probably every day because the application of AI is really broad. You can use it almost anywhere. You're seeing it with virtual personal assistants. You've also probably used it in your home with Siri or on your Apple phone, Alexa. There's autonomous vehicles. You've seen that with our friends at Tesla. Medical diagnosis systems, and of course it was used with the diagnosis of COVID. They used AI engines to be able to come up with that solution. So it's literally getting used all over the place, and we're seeing it grow in its usage. And of course, that's in thanks large part to our friends at ChatGPT or OpenAI for their large language model and some of their vectorization databases that they created. So what are some of the common AI acronyms that you're going to hear? And you're going to hear a lot of them. And first one is machine learning, or ML. So that is where algorithms and systems can learn from data and improve performance over time. That's the types of things that we see in Abby and Brainware today and many other applications. Probably one of the oldest subset of AI that's out there today. Large language models, or LLMs, that's a newer generation language model that also can apply other natural language processing tasks so that you can get better results. So kind of that big data. Now, NLP, this is the one that's probably the most revolutionary for most of us. If you're not a big programmer, if you're not deep into vector databases, having a natural language processor gives you the ability to understand and generate natural language using either speech or text. So you do that with your text, like on your phone, for example. If you're doing a speech to text to create a text message, that's what it's using as a natural language processor. CV, or computer vision, that gives you the ability to process videos and images. And I'll show you an example of that later, but no longer does it have to be text or data from a database. Now it can take images and really give you a broad answer to that, taking your data to that next level without having to do a big data cleanup or having to have someone go in and classify that particular document. Now computer vision gives you that ability through AI. Two other really key components for AI. Explainable AI. This is probably the most important in my opinion, and that is having an AI processor method that a human can comprehend and trust the results of the output. So often we hear about people fearful of having a hallucination, which is AI being wrong, or not being able to know how it arrived at a certain subset or a certain solution. So having explainable AI as a part of your AI journey is an absolute must. And last but not least, and this is obviously not an exhaustive list, but I wanted to give you a handful of the most common ones, is RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. And this is how large language models can improve their output by using an authoritative knowledge base, like OnBase, or any of your other data repositories to validate the information that's being generated. So if you want the most accurate responses, you want to feed it information that you know is good. And that could come from OnBase or any of your other data sources. So that's RAG. All right, so we know what a couple of the key terms are. We know what AI is. But how does that kind of fit into the whole model? And I love this picture because AI is this really broad, really big topic. And of course, within that is a whole bunch of subsets of information like machine learning is a subset of AI. Natural language processing is a subset of AI, along with those LLMs. So now you see kind of how it fits in the whole picture of AI. There's a lot of things about it, but there are so many wonderful use cases that you can use to improve your business and your processes. All right. And of course, it wouldn't be a great webinar if you didn't have a little humor. So in this case, the boss is asking, have you figured out how AI will impact our business? Employee says, yeah, I'm working on it. Asking AI, how will AI impact our business? Well, AI is not a crystal ball. AI can do anything with predicting or have emotions around what's going to happen, but it can definitely leverage data to do some predictive analysis, which is really exciting. So I love the fact that AI, you're asking AI how AI is going to impact your business going forward. So just like this cartoon asking questions about AI, it is now your turn to join the conversation. I want you to be a part of some questions and provide your feedback around where you are in your AI journey and your understanding of AI. So if you have your smartphone handy, please scan the QR code on the screen, or as Caitlin so kindly posted, if you need to, click that link, copy that link into a browser, and we will be kickstarting our journey into the questions. In each question, you'll be given about 20 seconds to complete. They're all multiple choice, so they're really, really easy. All right, giving you a chance to start. You'll be starting in a few seconds. You'll see them up on your screen. First question, how familiar are you with AI technology? And if you joined a little late, you can use the corner QR code to continue. Ooh, good start. Most of you thought would be somewhat. Do you have an IT policy around AI? This is really important. Our friends at Samsung ran into an issue where the developers uploaded some designs to get feedback, and those design ideas were stolen as a part of that. Does your organization have a clear AI strategy? Wow, right across the board. What are the potential benefits for implementing AI in your organization? E, nice. Do you have any barriers to AI adoption in your organization? Has your organization allocated an AI budget or a team? Some of you may already have a team in AI. Nice. Has your organization conducted any AI projects, including pilot projects? Have you kicked the tires on some AI initiatives? Ooh, that's evenly split. How do you plan to engage with your AI initiative? I think some of you are going to build a team, outsource it to a third party. In which area of your business do you see the most potential for AI implementation? Ooh. And last but not least, how do you plan to measure the success of your AI initiative? Excellent. Well done, everyone. Thank you for participating in that. And now let me share my screen just so we can review the answers. So going back through, starting with question one, how familiar are you with AI technology? I was really happy to hear nobody said not at all. That's fantastic. Majority said somewhat at 83%, followed by very familiar. And there are a lot of tools out there to help you learn about AI. So I definitely recommend if you aren't a part of any of the like Copilot. So Microsoft does basically every month or every other week in AI driven Power Apps and about Copilot. So you can learn a lot about some of the use case initiatives they've come up with. Similar to Salesforce has done a lot of great webinars. You can find a lot also on Amazon and Google, produce a lot of great content. So it seems like there's no an endless supply of learning that you can get out there. And I'm always amazed when I ask any one of the platforms a question on how to solve a particular issue, they often have a response ready to go for me and a link to a video. Perplexity AI, if you haven't used it, actually is built off of the OpenAI platform by a couple of guys that were former Google employees. And so that utility really is an interesting one from the way it gives you the context for your answer, but then also uses the context of your answer. If you want to dig a little deeper into something, it builds off that original question. So it's a really fantastic tool if you haven't used it today. Perplexity AI. So question two, do you have an IT policy today about how you use ChatGPT or other tools? And most of you said yes at 60%, 30% of you said no, and 10% said we're starting one. And that's great. I mean, you definitely need one. As I mentioned, the guys at Samsung ran into trouble because they put up their design to get some review and it got stolen out of there. And they didn't realize that that was going to happen. Innocent mistake, unfortunately, it did cost them the fact that they lost some design. I mean, similarly, that data is your gold, right? You want to preserve your data. I know that's a really important part for almost every organization out there. So having a policy in place ensures people understand that because they think they're doing something quite innocent and trying to drive a result faster because you do usually have increased speed, but you need to do it in a secure way. So having a policy will help ensure you do that. And interestingly enough, you can use ChatGPT or Copilot to help you create that policy. Question three was, does your organization have a clear AI strategy in place? And 36% of you said yes, 36% said no, and 27% of you said that you are creating a strategy right now. And that is really, really important because you want to make sure you're defining your use cases really specifically on not only what do you want it to do, but how are you going to define success when you implement that AI? And that will help steer exactly the tools and technologies that you need to put in place to achieve that result because each AI solution that's out there, so whether you're using Google Gemini or Amazon Bedrock, um, there are a lot of different ways to achieve a similar result, and some engines are better at sentiment, for example, if you're going to look at employee performance reviews, and some are better at generation of images. So you want to make sure you understand what what you're using it for, so you can get the best result. The benefits to the organization, and I love the fact that overwhelmingly 92% you said, I can do it all, right? I can have cost savings, I can improve my customer experience, I can get better decision making, and I can improve employee efficiency by implementing AI, and that's 100% true. Statistically, they've seen 2x as far as double the speed for any development. Those of you that have put code into any of the models, you know that it can generate a very close to production ready set of code right out of the gate. So it's really fast, especially if you're newer into a new language like Python. You can also see about a 25% to 30%, depending on what industry vertical you're in your NPS score, your Net Promoter Score. That's the health of your customer and what they're saying about you. And you'll also see by stitching a few of these technologies together that you can achieve even higher results. And of course, doing it all by saving some costs and improving the employee experience. I'll give you some other examples of that coming up. Also, so question 5, what are some of those barriers? What are some of those fear factors that come in? And this one has a little bit smattered across the board, but most of them are around data privacy concerns. And there's no question that is number one for us as well. Making sure that your data stays within your confines, that the security is applied just like you so eloquently created, is a really critical and important thing. But of course, having a lack of skills and the costs are also another factor to consider when implementing AI, which is why having a good strategy up front will help you ensure success. And question 6, has your organization allocation of an AI budget or a team? And I was impressed to see 20% of you have yes. Some of you said no, not yet, and a lot of you weren't sure. And if you're not sure, certainly you want to make sure this ends up on your roadmap. So we're coming into that fall time of year, oftentimes with budgeting cycles coming up. Make sure you're allocating some dedicated to using AI, even on the surface level, even just taking your first step in. You don't have to jump in with both feet. You can try it out and make sure that you start leveraging it going forward, because it certainly will be a difference maker in every single business going forward. And if you're not going to be using AI, you will be beat by the ones that are using AI in their organization. So starting to get comfortable with it now is really imperative. Question 7, has your organization conducted any AI projects, including pilot projects? 47% of you said yes, along with 47% no. What half of you are, which is really, really exciting. Here in the chat, you can post in there what maybe your use case was, how you're doing it, because that is a really, really nice way to share some information with your colleagues about where you're seeing the benefits of AI in your organization. But I love seeing that half of you have jumped in and started down the path of leveraging AI going forward. We use AI Einstein through Salesforce as a part of our assessment of customers and projects and across our entire customer database. And the insights it's been gleaning have been really powerful. So it's been really exciting to see how Einstein's been able to improve the look of our client interface through our Salesforce product. So question 8, how do you plan to engage with your AI initiative? So are you going to build your own team? Are you going to hire an outsourced company? And in this case, most of you are using a company on a project basis. And that's a really common way to do it, because most of the time that expertise definitely comes at a cost. Finding an AI expert today in the marketplace is very challenging. So partnering up with a trusted partner that has your best interest in mind is definitely a great way to go. Number 9, in which area of your business do you see the most potential for AI? And you can see the answers are kind of across the board, but customer service was the overwhelming one at 43%. And certainly this is one really, really impactful way that AI is going to leveraging AI within the customer service realm. I see it happening in a couple of different ways today. One is through a customer portal where you have a chatbot interface that allows for the end consumer to be able to help self-serve and answer questions or fill out information or do things like do an address change. Really simple tasks directly through the AI using natural language, so they don't have to know your lexicon of language. They don't have to understand your processes in the back end. They can type in saying, I need a change of address. It opens a form and they type it in and they're done. It's really quite exciting. or I've run into this error, and they need to be able to solve for that error, so you have that go against your knowledge base, and it provides those answers back so they can self-serve and solve that problem without needing to interface with your customer service reps. So really, really exciting. And I see that not only from an external perspective, but from an internal perspective. A lot of HR departments are leveraging it to be able to help employees identify how much PTO time do I get? Do I get bereavement time? And so on. So another great way to leverage it from a service perspective. And last but not least, how do you plan to measure success of your AI initiatives? And a quote I heard from someone in one of the podcasts I was listening to recently, hit it on the head as far as AI should be treated just like an employee. You want to measure it. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be 100% throughout, but it's going to be really, really good. And it's going to improve your organization. So it's like a great employee, one of your key members of your team you would never want to lose. AI is going to be that same way. And some of you thought return on investment was going to be how you're going to measure success. Improved efficiency by far won out for your OKR and KPIs. And certainly when you think of employee efficiency, that's one of the first quick wins that you're going to get out of it. Customer satisfaction scores is another common one. And the interesting one with the new revenue streams is folks, because they've increased efficiencies in other areas, that's allowed or afforded them to attract new business, maybe new verticals. Think of new markets that maybe you haven't been able to penetrate before because you've been so swamped with your current, but now your efficiencies allow you to expand to new areas. So that revenue generation is a really interesting idea and thought. So thank you all for your participation in our quiz and our survey to be able to provide some insights into where you are today in your AI journey. So now let's go back and talk about a couple more examples. And for those of you that would like these questions to challenge internally, I've included them in the PowerPoint, so when this gets shared out after the webinar, you'll be able to use them. But here are some sample use cases. So as I mentioned, developing scripts or doing coding, AI, whether using ChatGPT or Gemini, is a great way to start to create that script or to create that code. It won't do it 100%. So don't expect that it's going to be perfect out of the gate. You can copy and paste. In fact, I just recently did one and it was pretty good, but it gave an error right away. And so I put the error into ChatGPT and it gave me a fix to it. So it was interesting how it didn't come out perfectly on the first round, but once I was able to put in the error, it gave me a resolution to that particular error and I was able to solve it very quickly. And that was just one use case example. Maybe you are not the database administrator that you'd like to be. So you create Microsoft SQL queries or Oracle queries to the database isn't your forte. Leveraging AI can help bridge that gap for you. It's really good at creating most of those queries that you need. And in fact, some of them now are giving you the ability to ask a question in a natural language, like, tell me my top 10 customers based on sales revenue into your sales database, and it'll pull back that list for you, including the revenue numbers. So just a great use case. Creating job descriptions, that generative AI, being able to create content. And job descriptions for HR is one great way to do it. And you can get very specific by industry vertical and by state, so that state laws get applied. And again, I wouldn't use it copy and paste the entire thing, but it gives you the major content, but then it also gives you some ideas about things you maybe never even thought of to include in your job description going forward. So I would highly encourage you to try that. It's a great way to dip your toe in generative AI space. Another use case that I recently came up with was filtering job applications. So imagine you get a whole pile of applicants when their resumes coming in, and you need to be able to filter out based on their education level and based on the amount of experience that they have. By having them say come to OnBase first, then go out to Google Gemini or AI engine, you can pick your AI engine. It will then process it to determine, did you meet the requirement for education and experience, and then give that response back so that you can continue down your workflow process. And of course, being good, responsible AI folks, we take that response and let's say you didn't make it on your educational requirement. You can automate that response to the applicant saying, I'm sorry you don't qualify for this particular role because you're missing the educational requirement, include that requirement snippet, and then give them a form to be able to submit any additional content related to that educational requirement that might make them actually qualify for that role. Performance reviews. So performance reviews, of course, are something we all have to do for our employees, and it's really great feedback mechanism. But what's interesting is IBM did an AI initiative to determine could they predict employee churn based on performance reviews and using a few other data points like absenteeism, work schedules, and they combined all those data elements that they already had, put it in the AI, and they gave a predictive analysis for would an employee leave. And they said they were able to change, basically alter or focus on those employees by 87%. So reduce churn by 87%, which I thought was a pretty impressive mechanism to leverage AI to analyze that information and allow HR to focus on those critical few employees that you want to be able to save. You can also do that same type of thing for your clients. Take your client surveys, their interactions with your websites, their interactions with your webinars, their interactions, did they do an upgrade? Grab all of that great client data that you have and run it through an AI engine to determine, are they at risk from leaving you? If they're not engaging, there's probably a correlation to them leaving. And maybe they had churn, maybe they had a reason, but you should maybe outreach to determine, are they at churn risk? Another great use case is summarization. Every engine out there today has a summarization feature, and you should be using it. In this example, contracts, you can say, what's my risk for this contract? What's my exposure for this contract? And those are, by running those analysis or the summarizations, you make it really easy in your legal team to reduce risk in your organization. And I love this use case. And a company was, she had been on a maternity leave. She said, geez, I came back to thousands of emails, probably a lot like you, and team chats, Slack channel information. Didn't really know even where to begin to unravel all the things while being out. And so by leveraging a summarization tool through the emails, they were able to determine and create a nice little string, a summarization of those, each one of those email chains to determine, wow, what was happening here? Because some are informational and some are actionable, right? And so you need to be able to have a way to do that efficiently, and that was a great use case. And so they were doing it internally only, and it was all on their internal channels, all their internal information. But if you were gone for any period of time and you want to get caught up really quickly, it was a great way to do it. We actually partnered with a company called Hindsight that expedites patient pre-authorization. So it went from days to hours. And if you're a patient who is waiting for a pre-auth before a particular procedure, don't you want that to be as fast as humanly possible? AI, along with the medical lexicon, combined together, makes that really, really fast. So if you're in the medical space and you want to know more about that, please let me know. Also, client-employee chatbots, being able to interface in with data and be able to do self-service, huge right now, along with auto-classification of content. This isn't really new, but for those of you in the IDP space or intelligent document processing, you know, classifying documents is one of the first steps that has to occur. What am I looking at? And be able to do that effectively so that you can affect downstream processing is really, really important. And so we tried it out with just some additional content, right? So we all know about invoices and other things. But what about if you take a picture? So we had a little fun with our Google Gemini. Who doesn't love a cute kitten playing with ball string? When we fired up Gemini, we got back. This is a black and gray tabby kitten playing with a white string of yarn on a wood floor. And I love that description because it's very detailed. And I was in a roundtable, executive roundtable recently. We're in the hallway just having a conversation about strategy and things. And this comment resonated with me because he said, I am a better communicator because of AI. AI is very literal. And we all, as humans, right, we talk to each other, but we do a lot of assumptions. We do a lot of with context to each other that AI wouldn't necessarily understand. It's gotten a lot better over time. This particular example really details out what it sees. And of course, if you're classifying it now, you know exactly what's all there. And that can be done across a broad spectrum of documents. I just thought that was a bit of a fun one. All right. So it wouldn't be an AI webinar if we didn't have some more AI in it. So I challenged Microsoft Copilot to the predictions of AI in 2025. Give me the trends of coming up with a list of where it thinks you're going to see AI most in 2025. First, healthcare. That shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. It's leveraged pretty heavily in the healthcare space today, and they only see it growing. Pre-authorizations was one of them I brought up, where hindsight's in there. We help with those on that side of the house, but claims processing is another use case beyond just the bio aspect of it. Autonomous vehicles. I was hoping for autonomous flying vehicles, but only autonomous vehicles came up in the list. You'll see advancements there, and you're seeing that all the time. Natural language processing continue to evolve and improve. I am astounded every month. There's a new update that comes out, and it's better than it was before. And I thought it was pretty good before. So when you see what's going to happen in 2025 or how accurate it's going to be, and the value of that, of course, is I can take a brand new employee who may know nothing about your industry or details about what you do, and by giving them an AI tool that has natural language processing, they can type in a question and get responses. So maybe they're at a car dealer. I know nothing about cars. They can ask them questions about type of engine or amount of occupants. They can just type it in, and now a brand new employee who's never even worked at a car dealer before can be like a seasoned veteran. And that's really, really exciting. So I was happy to see that come up in 2025. Smart cities also came up high on the list. So they can do, of course, you're seeing cities do this more and more with their lights and other things that happen. So you're going to see that grow in 2025. They also predict predictive maintenance. This is an exciting one too. If you have anything that you need to be able to do regular maintenance on, whether it's machinery, a factory, anything that requires a regular maintenance cycle, AI is going to help you predict when that's going to go down so you can do it before it happens. Pretty impressive, especially if you have a delivery mechanism. If you're in logistics at all, you'll need that. Financial services improving. In fact, we built an AI machine learning model to determine insurance. Do you have the accurate insurance to be able to cover a mortgage? So it's a mortgage insurance verifier, because that has to be there, right? So that was a machine learning model that we implemented in a couple of financial services organizations. They're seeing that more and more. Education and environmental monitoring, conservation. The entertainment media, you're going to see that more and more as well. And last but not least, cybersecurity. AI is going to be revolutionize cybersecurity. They're going to try to stay one step ahead of those bad actors that are out there. And you're going to see that way more in 2025. So a lot of exciting things and areas for growth in different use cases that you're going to see improve in 2025. So when we do this again next year, it's going to be a whole litany of new tool sets and capabilities that we don't have today that will make your business even better. So with that, I want to thank everybody. Please ask any questions. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any use cases that you want to try out. We're happy to join you in those conversations. You'll get your sales exec, myself. We'll bring the team together and review your use cases and see if we can't help your business become even better with AI today.